Oh, now it says live.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to All Booked Up. I'm Beth Hildenbrand, and tonight our special guest is Karen Hall.
Hi.
Hi, Karen. One thing I want to say is Happy National Chocolate Day.
Yes, I can get behind that one.
Yes, I have a nice chocolate cake waiting for later. Yay me, go me. And yay, it's chocolate day. I mean, what else can you say? I live 40 minutes from Hershey, so I'm a chocolate girl.
I would be in big trouble if I lived that close to her.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, I went there once in 2005, about a year after I got married.
Did you take the little tour through the chocolate factory?
I did. I did. Oh my gosh, it was so fun. I'm learning the history. And my husband, we took my son. He was 15, I think, and I'm not big on rides, especially ones that have sudden drops like roller coasters. And Tom decided that he said that the ride was just a nice little lazy river ride all the way up until the end when we had that huge drop that I was not expecting. He said the sheer terror on my face.
Oh, oh yeah. I think we went there every year on field trip in elementary school. I think to the chocolate factory,
Oh,
and then we would
fun.
get free chocolate. It was always so much fun. It was great.
Yeah. Hi, Nana.
Hi, honey. Okay. I'm going to turn it over to you for a minute and let you tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my pet. You know what? I don't even know where to start. Um, People ask me how I got started in writing, and honestly, it wasn't until after I was retired. Um, I had a lot of time on my hands, and I started reading because we had a very small house, and it was kept clean very easily. And I stumbled upon paranormal romances with shapeshifters, and I started reading a bunch of those, and I really enjoyed it. And one of my favorite authors was coming to a book signing here in Denver, and so I went and saw her, and I was so excited. And we sat, we had lunch together, and we chatted, and I told her a joke about a friend of mine who owned a ranch in the mountains in Colorado, and his name and his two hands, ranch hands names. And I said, those are romance novel names. And so we joked about it, and she said, that sounds like it would be really good for you to write. And so we talked more, and it developed. It started to be they were going to be doctors that owned a ranch in the mountains in Colorado, and it turned into shapeshifters, black bears, and that's how my Black Bears of Independence series started.
Oh,
So I bumped my desk again. I'm sorry.
oh, you're fine, honey. Well, that sounds like a fun series.
It's been fun to write. I've got one more book. Galena's book will come out next year, and I did a poll in my readers group and asked them if they would like to have the children as adults and meeting their mates. So it'd be a spinoff, and they all voted yes, which tickled me and surprised me. So there will be a part two, but there are 17 children. So that will take me a while to write.
Wow.
The Black Bears of Independence is a it's an 8-book series. It's the first four are linked together by a storyline, and then the next four were written as standalones. And that's how I'm doing all my series now, is writing them as standalones. So, but that's how I got started. We, my husband and I, uh, moved into this house in December 31st of 2015. And I used to have an office upstairs. Now it's downstairs. I have a bad arthritis in both knees, so it's hard to get around. I'm so excited that you love my series, Nana. Thank you. Um, so it's just, I write what comes to me, and as long as my characters talk to me. Right now, my characters aren't talking to me, so I'm a little stuck in my book. Um, I do have Strigoi Redemption. That started as a dream. I had a dream, and this girl was in a lavish mansion, and it was Christmas. They were decorating for Christmas, and the owner of the house, she never saw him, and it turned out that he was a being that could be invisible as well as change into anything that he wanted to be. So I was talking to my mom the next morning, because she lived with us for a few years. And she said, that sounds like a really good book. And let's see what kind of creature that would be. And we discovered Strigoi. And they are actually older than vampires. And so they're like vampires, but they can turn invisible. They don't have to worry about the sun. So it was really fun to write that one. That was actually written as a standalone, and the readers asked me, because he is a Strigoi he was born a Strigoi, so the seventh son of a seventh son, and so they wanted the other brothers' stories, and so I have put two of those out already. And I will be ending that series with Victor and Alana's daughter as an adult and finding her mate, and she will rule the shifter world.
Okay, I have a confession.
Yeah.
um, I loved your book so much that I went on Amazon and I was looking up your other books.
I'm so glad. Thank you.
And I picked that one out. So yes, I will be making a purchase. I had to wait till I have time, and I have next month coming up, and I'm like, okay, yes, that was the series I wanted to start with. That looked fun to me, and being a horror author, okay, yeah, that's the one I was headed to.
Oh wow, thank you.
So yes,
I hope you'll like it.
Oh, I'm sure I will. Yeah, I saw that and I was like, okay, there's my pick. Yep, gonna get that one. Gonna get that one. Had to wait for Amazon to pay me my big bucks before I could order it. But yeah, that's the one I chose. Yeah, because I really enjoyed your Eye of the Buyer.
Yes, that just came out, and let me tell you that the reviews I'm getting on that have floored me. Um, People, well, a lot of people don't like that I write in third person, and I do write in third person. I tried first person.
Guilty.
It's too hard when you're writing in first person. You can't say what anybody else is doing if they're not being witnessed by that person, and I don't like that. I like everybody to know, hi Amanda.
Yeah, we should stop a second and thank you everybody for tuning in. Lila, Kenny, Amanda, Nina, thank you all for coming to the show.
Okay. Thank you.
Now we can get back to business.
Okay. That the characters of that story came from a friend of mine who passed away right after Christmas in 2022. Um, this was supposed to be a surprise book for her. She had let me use her characters. I changed some of the names around in the initial book, Cherished by the Dragon, and that's the one we were working on together. And unfortunately, she passed away before the book was finished, and it took me a while to get back to the book with my grief and everything. And then Eye of the Buyer was Callie and Dwayne's story, and instead of baby boys, I gave them baby girls. And of course, theirs had diabetes, and so I went further with that in giving them a disease that they needed a transplant for. Um, so unfortunately, yeah, she passed away, so I was never able to surprise her with that book, and I'm sure she's up there looking down on me, tickled pink that their love story went on, and so I couldn't do it exactly how we originally set it up because the storyline was totally different. Um, but it came from my heart, and I dedicated both books um, to her memory and everything. And just to see how people love Dwayne and Callie, their characters, and how they worked through things, and then that Callie has two dads, and they're still in touch with the surrogate moms, um, and that's how Linda had built the world, and so it was really really nice. The auction was fascinating for me. I never did anything like this, so it is a stretch. I do have a few contemporary romances, and that is one of them. And it's a really, I think, heartwarming story. And all of mine have happily ever afters. I tell my readers that all the time. I do a happily ever after. So even though they're going through this, I promise you, in the end, it will be there. And a lot of the reviews said that they loved their story, and after it's a shared world, a night to remember auction. And so my book was the last book for this year. And they said that some of them said it was the book they didn't know that they needed. It was a nice, gentle way to close out the first section of the series. And that really, really made me happy. It did so much for me because I had been going through a little bit of depression and having a little bit of trouble writing and everything since my mom passed and whatnot. And so to know that people really loved my characters and my writing was a really really wonderful thing for me to experience. So I'm grateful to my readers, because if it wasn't for them I wouldn't be doing this.
Well, it was such a feel good book. It really was.
I'm glad.
Yeah, it was like a curl up with a cup of coffee and blankie on a rainy day, and yeah, just sit back and enjoy kind of book. And yes, the characters were great, and the story was great, and it makes you feel good. It was a feel good book. You did such a great job with it.
Thank you.
And it made me happy. I smiled through the whole book. So yay, kudos. You did
glad.
A great job.
I'm really glad.
What is the name of the book? Julie says it is called Eye of the Buyer by Karen Hall or KR Hall.
KR Hall. Yeah. If you do Karen Hall,
KR
you're going to
Hall.
find somebody that's not me.
Yeah, it will be on my Facebook page. You will, Karen. Did you put the links up on my Facebook page for it?
For the book, no, I forgot. I put the links on where to find me. If you go to my website, there is a
Okay.
direct link there on my website.
Okay. Well, you can find Karen on my Facebook page, and that will take you to the link to find her book. It is fabulous, fabulous, and I'm looking forward to getting into the Strigoi books because I've always been fascinated by them as well. I have heard of them before, by the way,
Oh,
and so yeah, well, like I said, horror author. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into that. When I started reading, your blurbs on Amazon, I was like, oh yeah, gotta get this.
um,
uh,
when I was researching that, I learned that um,
oh
Strigoi is what when Bram Stoker, that was his inspiration to write Dracula, was
yes,
based on the Romanian um, stories of Strigoi. The beginning of the book, they are actually in, and I'm going to say it wrong, and I know I am. There, it's Moldova and Moldovo, and I always get it confused because they're so similar, but one is no longer there. It's over the centuries, it's been changed. They changed the name of it. Um, so, but that's where they came from. So I did a lot of research on there. So some things are factual, and then I had them come to Carver, Massachusetts. Um, so
oh, no, I did it.
a lot of my books, even though they are fiction, there is a lot of facts in them. I research heavily on these things, so that if I'm talking about a location or something like that, that that's really a place. Most of my books do take place here in Colorado, but I do have that series um, in Massachusetts, and I've got a book in California, and of course, this auction one is in another state. And my mind just went totally blank on. Oh, I'm looking right at it. Maine. And the book I'm writing now is the second book in the Project X Force series. Um, and that is special ops. They're shifters that there were humans that were made shifters in the old Loring Air Force Base in Maine, because I was stationed there in the 80s.
Oh, you were?
I did 8 years in the Air Force.
Oh, well, I've got to talk to you. I'm serious. I'm getting ready to do a true story, a book on military base hauntings.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've heard rumors that there are some places up there that are haunted. Um, I never experienced any of it when I was there, but now that it's been abandoned, I think they shut it down in 93 or 94. It was right after I left and went to Virginia. Um, and some people do say that there are places there that are haunted. I was in my research, I was looking for the old house that I used to live in, and it's gone. It's flattened out.
Oh.
And a lot of the stuff from when I lived there in the late 80s, they're gone. There's no more Sears. There's the Rendezvous restaurant is gone. They've got a new one in another town. But yeah, my son was born there. He was born in 1989, and they had the new hospital had been open for a year. So I was pleased because I didn't want him born in the old hospital.
Oh, geez. I'll tell you what, isn't it amazing how things change?
Yes, very much so.
I mean, well, I was here, I grew up around here, went to Indiana for college for a few years, came back home, and it was like, what happened?
Yeah. Um, I do that. We've lived in Colorado since '92, and we've actually, my husband and I have been married for 20 years, and so I've been in this neck of the woods of Colorado for that long. And we went somewhere the other day. I don't remember exactly where it was, and it's like there's all this new construction, and it's like, wait a minute, that used to be that, and that used to be that. And so even in just a few years, things change, and it's crazy.
I know, it just boggles my mind. I'll just going up the street, they have started, they widened our roads and started building all these new fast food restaurants and things. It seems like, once a month I'll go up through and see another new restaurant.
Yeah.
And it's like, how many do we need now? We used to have like McDonald's and Burger King, and that was it.
Yeah.
And now there's like, okay, we got the Taco Bell, we got the not Church's chicken, the Popeye's chicken. We've got the what's it called? Paneros or whatever
Panera
that
Bread?
is. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we have one here too.
And the Bob and Mike's subs and Bob and Mike's whatever it is, and then and oh, just everywhere. They're everywhere, and you can't even keep track of them. And it's like, how do they stay in business when there's that many of them?
Oh, I know, it's crazy. And then the franchisees with all their different stuff. Well, it's like 7-Eleven. There used to be 7-Eleven on every corner when I was a kid growing up, and you don't see them hardly anymore here.
We used to have Turkey Hill and Penn Supreme. Penn Supreme is gone now, and now we have Wawa's and it starts with it. Sheets, Wawa's and Sheets. We used to have Turkey Hill and Penn Supreme. Now we have Wawa and Sheets. And you don't see the Turkey Hill and Penn Supreme anymore. They're just gone. They were like, little Pennsylvania businesses.
Yeah.
Wiped out by the big guys.
Well, that's like I saw something on Mysteries of the Museum. They were talking about the very first Piggly Wiggly.
I saw that one too.
One.
I watch those all the time too. Mysteries of the Museum.
Isn't it a great show?
It is. You never know what you're going to find out watching that.
Oh my gosh, yes, and it's so fascinating. I love the history that I learn and some of the other things. But yeah, I mean, they said Piggly Wiggly, and I'm like, wait a minute, I know that name. I've never been in one, but I've heard of it.
Did you see the one with the mask, the death mask with the woman's face?
Yes. Oh, that was kind of freaky.
Was it? But it was fascinating at the same time.
It was very, very, very fascinating, but it was a little scary. It's on I think it's on Cinemax or something like that, Max. And so I've started the whole series from the beginning because I've never seen it from the beginning. But yeah, it's just amazing that the things he also did. Ripley's Believe It or Not. I wish they hadn't taken that off the air. That
was good too.
Mm-hmm.
They have new ones out now too. William Shatner has one that he does, and it has the most fascinating things on it. I just love these kind of shows. Anything I can find out about history and such. I like that what's his name? That Josh Gates show. I'm always either watching History Channel or Discovery Channel or one of those. I just like to learn stuff. But yeah those are excellent shows.
They are. they're absolutely fascinating. I love to watch. I haven't seen it in years, but that Ghost Hunters. I used to watch that all the time too.
Oh yeah, same here. We have the Travel Channel, and they always have something interesting and ghosty on that channel all the time. I watch that all the time too. And some of them I just sit and laugh at because they're so just ridiculous. I'll tell you what, every house they walk into, they have a demon. And I'm always thinking if a real demon came up and goosed you, you people would just fall over, you just pass out because you wouldn't know what the heck to do. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's they never debunk anything. It's just always not even a ghost. It's a demon. It's a demon. I feel the oppression. It's like, yeah, somebody needs to oppress you upside the back of the head, you dummy. But yeah, some of them just crack me up. But there's a few that you have to wonder um, if they're for real or not. And ghost hunters I always enjoyed because they would never lie
Yeah.
and tell you that they heard things that weren't there and things like that. They'd say, well, we had our stuff set up, we didn't hear nothing, or we heard a little knock, but we can't tell you if it was anything or not.
Well, I was disappointed and relieved. I When I spent the night at the Stanley Hotel.
Oh, you went to the Stanley Hotel?
Oh, I used to go there to eat a few times, but I won a night stay at a silent action, and my husband and I spent our wedding night there. Um, there
Ooh,
were 11 weddings going on that day, and I don't know how they handled them all, but it was great. I wanted the Stephen King room, but it was booked. But I got the room next to his, and I was both excited that I didn't see anything and disappointed that I didn't see anything. But yeah, it was really really nice. It's been bought again by another company of some sort. I don't remember, out of Arizona, and I think they're trying to restore a lot of it. So that'll be nice to see when they're done with all that.
Ooh, I got to go there sometime. I really do.
If you like Silly Ghost, you should read Corbin Manor.
Corbin Manor.
Have you seen Murder by Death?
No.
No. Clue?
Yes.
How about The Private Eyes with Don Knotts and
Yes, I
Kim
remember
Conway?
that. Yes. Yes.
Those movies inspired Corbin Manor. It's
Okay.
a mystery spoof, and it's got all kinds of fun stuff. And people tell me they don't realize who the killer is until the end, and I'm like, well, that's because I didn't know who the killer was until the end.
Yeah, I read that one. I read the blurb for that one, and I was thinking that one sounded good too. Because
It's
I
it's
love it when I
very
can't
funny.
figure things out. When you're a writer and you start to read so much, you start to figure them out. So when I can read a book and I don't know who did it till the end, when somebody can get me, I love it. I absolutely love it because I drive my family crazy watching movies. Because I'll be like, well, they did it. And they'll be like, can't you just shut up for once? Because it's so easy to figure out. So I love it when somebody can get me. I'm going to get that book now. Yep. Yep. I want you to get me. I enjoy a book when somebody can get one over on me.
That is a fun one. My editor at the time that did that book, she says, Karen, you can't do that. That doesn't happen. And I'm like, it's a spoof. No. And she didn't realize it was a spoof when I sent it to her. So yeah. But
It's a spoof.
yeah, she says you can't have a pet crocodile that can sniff out bodies. And I'm like, I can if it's a spoof.
I like how it's a spoof. I love it. Okay, I have to ask you at least one question.
Sure.
We're over time, but I don't care. I have to ask you at least one question. Okay. Um, uh, uh, was there a time you disagreed with your character's actions? That's a good question. That's a good question, honey.
Um, that happens actually quite often. And it's what I'm fighting in my book right now. Um, I finally gave the serial killer a chapter of his own to give him the background. And he's not happy that he only got one chapter. So I'm trying to write another chapter with him in it. But there have been times where I have had the characters go sideways on me. And I'm like, I did not see that coming. And I mean, really, because I'm just typing away and it's going and it's going. And then I'm like, oh, that just happened. And I sent it to my beta readers and they're like, we weren't expecting that. And I said, that's okay. Neither was I. So that actually happened, happens a lot. It happened definitely in Dylan and Caleb's book from the Black Bears of Independence. I'm trying to think who else did it. It went, I think in Fate Will Always Win, I think the characters changed on me in there. Oh, my mafia books. I did a fairy tale retelling of Tom Thumb and Thumbelina. Only they're humans, and so the first one was Size Matters, and they went a little. She was Thumbelina, and and her nickname was Tommy. And then in Tom Thumb was just the right size, and so that is the mafia guy's sister in the second one. And so that went a little different too. So it happens sometimes just slightly in a book, and other times it's like, I totally did not see that coming.
Don't you love it when that happens?
Yes. They are very stubborn. Actually, in Eye of the Buyer, I had to go back and change a few things because of the characters didn't like what I wrote and they stopped talking to me. So I'm like, okay, I understand that. So I went and redid it, and then they started talking to me again. And I mean, really, they have to talk to me, or I just can't write it because otherwise it's forced, and it doesn't.
I hate that. Good. Oh, I hate that. You just slam out like 2 paragraphs, and then 2 days later you look at it and it's like, oh no, go back.
My fastest book I wrote was Merry Friggin' Christmas. I wrote that book in about 6 to 8 weeks, and it's basically it's my husband and I's love story.
Aww.
He hated Christmas, and because he's had a lot of tragedies around the holidays. And I am his third wife. He's lost 2 wives before me to different cancers. And so yeah, he really hated Christmas, and I love everything Christmas. It's always been my favorite holiday. So in the book, it's she has a 5-year-old daughter. My son was 14 when Tom and I met and married. So but it is a little bit based on that. And I asked him, when this happened, how did you feel? When this happened, how did you feel? So a lot of that emotional stuff that's in there, that's him. And some of the stuff from Natalie is me and how I interpret things and stuff. And then I asked him, I says, why did you change? Why do you like Christmas now? And he said, because I loved you more.
Oh.
So, because the first few years of our marriage was pretty rocky. both of his wives died in December, right after Christmas, and they were buried in January. Well, January 19th is my birthday. So it was a very solemn occasion in my house. And the longer we were married and the more we were in love with each other, he came out of his shell for that, and he started loving Christmas again. And Nana, if you want to read Merry Friggin' Christmas, wait until December. It's going to be free for the entire month.
Oh, good, because I want to too. I almost got tears in my eyes.
Yeah, it's a tearjerker. It really is, and I've got it in the reader roundup, so I'm getting new reviews on it, and they are liking it and everything. But for I'm going to it's wide. All my books are wide. So Thanksgiving weekend, I'm going to make it live. I mean, free. I was reading something and said live instead. Free and through New Year's. So basically the whole month of December, and then a couple days before and after. I've got to get Amazon to price match, as you know. They price match. So once they get it done, price match, it'll be on Amazon for free. But it will be on Kobo and Barnes and Nobles and Smashwords and other places free first.
I can't believe that the older I get, I'm just turning into a silly old woman. I cry at the drop of a hat these days. I don't know what's wrong with me. Big scary horror author cries over Christmas story. Oh, okay. Well, on that note,
thank you so much for letting me on with your program. When Nana approached me, I didn't realize it was live, and then later on she said it's live, and I'm like, oh, I've never done live, and I'm scared and I'm nervous. I had butterflies in my stomach, but you know what? Chatting with you, it was so easy, and
thank you.
I was relaxed. I stumbled over a few words here and there, but Amanda, I'm glad you like Tom. He's such a great guy. Thank you, Nana.
She's the best. I could not survive without her. She is my rock.
Yep, I'm the same way with Amanda. She's my best friend and my PA, and we met for the first time last November when she came up for the book signing at the Stanley. That was my very first one. I will be going to New Orleans for that book signing in late June of next summer.
Well, thank you for being on with us. I adore you from Facebook. I mean, your posts make me laugh constantly. You just keep me giggling all the time. Every time I see one of yours, I'm like, okay, what she got for me today?
You know what? I spend time, if I'm bored and can't write, I spend time looking for funny memes.
Well, you come up with them, and that skeleton, I've got to share it because he dances better than I do. Yeah, he does. I am the worst dancer in the world, and I just giggled myself silly when I saw that today. So I'm going to have to share him with the world. And thank you for being on.
Thank you for having me.
You are a sweetheart, and I'm glad I got to get to know you this way. So if you'll hang on for just a second after we say goodbye.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. And
thank you, Amanda, and everybody else.
and yes, thank you, everybody, for coming. And if you want to see any back shows, check out the show on YouTube. And everybody have a good night. Mwah. Love you. Bye-bye.